Welcome to Lesson 16 on interjections and possessive nouns. Now we have two different concepts that we're going to cover here. Both of them are fairly straightforward. So let's look at an interjection, which is one of our parts of speech. Okay, that's anything that shows emotion or feeling. And it's, again, just like an injection of emotion into the sentence. For example, they list here, gosh, yippee, great Caesar's ghost. Horrors, for Pete's sake, oh, Timothy, which oh would be the interjection. Timothy would be the direct address. Now, if we look at this, we know that they're kind of separated from the sentence. They're not related. They're kind of extra little additions to the sentence. So when we diagram them just like direct address. We put them at the top of the sentence. Okay, so if we look at our sentences, horrors, I certainly did not expect that. We know and we can see that our interjections are set off with punctuation. So horrors has an exclamation point. We put it directly on top of the sentence. Everything else gets diagrammed exactly as we would expect up to this point. Now, when you have a single word interjection, it goes on the straight line. When you move into multiple word interjections, then we diagram them just as they would appear if they were in the rest of the sentence. For Pete's sake, is a prepositional phrase. So we still put it above the main sentence, but we do diagram it as a prepositional phrase with the preposition on the diagonal line, the object of the preposition on the straight line, and modifiers underneath it. Now, if you have in a sentence such as this one, oh, Timothy, come with us, we know that O is the interjection, Timothy is the direct address. You put them in the order in which they appear in the sentence. The first one will be on the top, the next one will go below it, and that's the order in which we put that. Now, we'll do some examples, but that's how you diagram interjections, fairly straightforward. The other concept we're going to talk about here is possessive nouns. Now, these are anything showing possession that ends in apostrophe S or S apostrophe. And what's kind of nice is in this case, we can say all possessive nouns function as adjectives, okay, and are diagrammed as adjectives. Because if you think about it, they are giving us more information about the noun in which they're describing. They're going to modify that word. So if we look at these examples, we gave the books to Jake's cousin, Katie Sullivan. Now we've got a couple different things going on here in the sentence. If we look, we realize that we have a prepositional phrase, to Jake's cousin. I see the comma, which lets me know that there's something important grammatically going on here. And in this case, I can see cousin, oh, by the way, she's Katie Sullivan, which is our appositive. So that is our whole prepositional phrase. Now, if we look at the baseline, we gave the books. Okay, we can tell that the verb is gave, and who or what gave. Well, that is we, so that's my subject. We gave who or what? The direct object is books. So I can go ahead and diagram we gave books, and I know that the is an article, but it's always serving as an adjective, and that tells us more about books. And we gave it to whom, or in what manner? To Jake's cousin, Katie Sullivan. So in this case, we've got the preposition on the diagonal line. We need the object of the preposition on the straight line, which is the last word of the prepositional phrase. Now in this case, it's a little bit different because we do have an appositive. So both words go as the object of the preposition. Cousin appears first, so it gets diagrammed, and Katie Sullivan then is the appositive in parentheses. Now in the sentence, this is what we're talking about with possessive nouns, and we've got a big visual cue with the apostrophe S or S apostrophe. Those will always serve as adjectives. So tell me more about the cousin. Well, it's Jake's cousin. And Jake's gets diagrammed under cousin, not under Katie Sullivan. All right, let's go through and do an example. Hooray, Mrs. Martin's class has no test tomorrow. Okay, so if we look at this sentence, we can see that we have an interjection. Okay, now do we have a prepositional phrase? First thing we want to look for. No, so let's look for our verb. Miss Martin's class has no test tomorrow. And I can see that has is my verb. And who or what has? Well, the class has. And we can easily see that we've got our possessive noun right there with the apostrophe S, so we know that that's going to serve as an adjective. So if we look to diagram our example here, we can see that hooray is our interjection. And if we go through our sentence, we can see that has is our verb. And what has? Well, class has. And so it's our subject and our verb. Now, in this case, has is an action verb. So class has what? Class has test. So that's our direct object. Now, we can easily identify, and we know that we're working with possessive nouns in this sentence. So we have our apostrophe S. So you know that Miss Martin's is going to be an adjective describing a noun in the sentence. So let's go ahead and start diagramming. I know that I put the interjection at the top. As we diagram our sentence, we know that our subject we've already identified is class. And the verb is has, direct object test. Now that I have my baseline diagrammed, I'm going to mark off the words I've used. Hooray, class, has, test. Now Mrs. Martins is telling us more about the class, so I diagram it as an adjective underneath class. And has, test, tell me about the test. Well, it's no test. And when do they have it? They have it tomorrow, so that's an adverb. So that is how you diagram interjections and possessive nouns.